He just sees you as an ATM, Sarah. A human ATM he can withdraw from whenever he wants. That was the stark warning her best friend, Lily, kept repeating. She thought her love was building a future. She didn't realize it was building a gilded cage around herself, while Mark was building his escape. And then, one devastating day, the truth was revealed, shattering her world and forcing her to confront the ultimate betrayal. Are you ready to witness a story of sacrifice, deceit, and the extraordinary rebirth of a woman who lost everything, only to reclaim it all? The 4 a.m. alarm wasn't an annoyance for Sarah. It was the steady rhythm of her life, the insistent beat that signaled the start of another relentless day. It was a constant reminder of her purpose, the very reason she embraced this grueling routine. Long before the first hint of dawn touched the skyline of Los Angeles, Sarah was already quietly preparing in her small apartment in a working-class neighborhood. There was no time for a leisurely breakfast or moments of quiet reflection. Her long hair was efficiently pulled back, her fast food uniform already laid out, and on her sleep-deprived face, there was still a faint, hopeful smile. That smile was reserved for Mark. By 5 a.m., Sarah was already at the 24/7 fast food restaurant. The familiar aroma of cooking oil and fried chicken quickly filled the air. During the early morning shift, she was a seamless part of the frantic rhythm, expertly flipping hundreds of golden brown chicken pieces, meticulously arranging crispy French fries, and sometimes personally delivering hot trays of food to the first few customers of the day. Despite the physically demanding work, which required speed and precision, Sarah rarely complained. Every dollar earned carried a special significance. Around 2 p.m., when her shift at the fast food joint ended, Sarah would return home, her body aching with fatigue, but her mind still resolutely focused. She had only a few short hours to quickly eat lunch, perhaps catch a brief nap if she was lucky, or sometimes just enough time to change into a different uniform before rushing off to her second job, a cashier at a large supermarket. At the supermarket, she stood for hours on end, her feet throbbing, her eyes intensely focused on countless product barcodes. The incessant beep-beep of the scanner, the clink of coins, and the repetitive greetings exchanged with hundreds of customers wore her down. This shift stretched late into the evening, sometimes until 10 p.m., sometimes 11 p.m., depending on the customer flow. When darkness had fully descended and the city finally succumbed to a deeper slumber, Sarah would drag herself home, her body completely exhausted, her mind a blank. Sarah's life was an unending cycle of work, stretching from the earliest hours of the morning until late at night, 7 days a week. She sacrificed social gatherings with friends, declined invitations to go out, and put aside all personal hobbies. The reason for this extreme sacrifice was singular. Mark, her boyfriend. Mark, a bright and ambitious young man, came from a modest background. He harbored a fervent desire to attend college and pursue a career in fashion design, a dream that, ironically, had originally been Sarah's. Sarah possessed a natural talent for needlework and sketching, her imagination alight with designs from a young age. But when love entered the picture, she made a difficult choice. "I'll do everything so you can go to college, so you can achieve your dream," she had told him. And Mark, with his warm eyes and sweet promises, had accepted her sacrifice. "I love you so much, Sarah. You're my motivation," Mark would often whisper to her, his voice a balm against her weary shoulders, whenever she returned home, burdened by the day's toil. "I won't let you down. Once I have a good job, I'll make it up to you 100 times over." Those words, like a potent elixir, soothed Sarah's every ache and pain. They were the fire illuminating her darkest nights, the sole source of energy that kept her going through those long shifts. She envisioned a beautiful future, Mark successful, building a happy life with her, and perhaps, one day, helping her revive the fashion design dream she had put on hold. This unwavering faith in their love and future was the only thread that held her, making her endure this arduous life for 5 long years. 5 years passed in a blur, filled with countless drops of sweat, unspoken tears, and hidden dreams. Finally, The day Mark graduated from college arrived. Sarah, though unable to attend the ceremony due to her work schedule, felt her heart swell with pride. She had done it. Mark had his degree. However, her joy wasn't entirely complete. Mark's diploma was only a pass grade, enough for him to enter the professional world, but not particularly outstanding. After much effort and countless applications, Mark finally secured a junior position at a reputable fashion company. It's just an entry-level job, but it's a start, Mark said over the phone to Sarah, his voice tinged with a hint of reluctance, something not quite what she had hoped for. Still, Sarah was happy. For her, as long as he had a job in his chosen field, his dream career, that was enough. She believed that with his talent, he would soon climb the ladder. Little did she know that on the very day Mark received his diploma and stepped through the doors of that fashion company, both their lives had irrevocably veered onto a completely different path, a path only Mark could see, while Sarah remained lost in her blind sacrifices. A new chapter, full of unexpected twists and bitter truths, awaited them both. Mark's graduation marked not just the end of his college chapter, but the unsettling beginning of a new one for both him and Sarah. The ink on his diploma was barely dry, and the crisp new shirts of his entry-level position at Haute Designs, a renowned fashion house in downtown Los Angeles, seemed to ignite a different kind of ambition within him. An ambition that slowly, insidiously, began to push Sarah to the periphery of his life. The subtle shifts started almost immediately. What began as a mere decrease in their daily calls soon escalated into nights where their conversations were clipped, distracted, and solely centered around Mark's new world. "Work's crazy, Sarah. I'm swamped," he'd say, his voice lacking the usual warmth. Or just got off a big call, can't talk long. Sarah, ever understanding, always replied with a soft, "It's okay, I understand. Just focus on your career." She believed in him, fiercely. She knew how hard he'd worked to get this job, and she wanted him to succeed above all else. Then came the nights he didn't come home. The first time, it was a sudden late-night text, pulled an all-nighter at the office. "Big project. Don't wait up." Sarah worried, of course, but she reassured herself. This was the demanding life of a fashion professional. This was what they'd sacrifice for. But one night became two, then more. His excuses grew vague. Unexpected overtime, client meeting ran late, company retreat. He'd return in the early hours, sometimes looking disheveled, sometimes smelling faintly of unfamiliar perfumes or expensive alcohol, which he'd brush off as industry networking. Sarah, blinded by her unwavering trust and the sheer exhaustion of her own double shifts, never questioned him too deeply. She clung to the sweet memories, the whispered promises, the years of shared dreams. She truly didn't know what he was doing, what kind of life he was building outside of her knowledge. Her best friend, Lily, saw it. Lily, a vibrant, no-nonsense woman who worked in public relations, had been Sarah's rock through countless challenges. She had watched Sarah pour her youth, her energy, and her dreams into Mark, and now she saw the subtle cracks forming in Sarah's foundation. "Sarah, are you sure he's worth all this?" Lily would ask during their rare, snatch coffee breaks. "He's acting different, distant. He barely looks at you anymore." Sarah would always defend him. "No, Lily, you don't understand. He's just stressed with his new job. This is what we work for. He needs my support more than ever." Lily's frustration grew. "Support? Sarah, you're practically a human ATM for him. You're working yourself to the bone while he's out God knows where. Wake up. He's not the same Mark." She tried logic, tried anger, tried gentle persuasion. But Sarah's loyalty was a formidable wall. "He loves me, Lily. He always tells me." Lily would sigh, defeated, watching her best friend slowly disappear behind a veil of denial. I can't keep watching you do this to yourself, Maya," Lily would say, her voice laced with despair. "Just be careful." The 5-year anniversary of their relationship, a milestone Sarah had meticulously marked on her calendar, finally arrived. It was a Saturday, one of her rare half-days off. She dedicated every precious minute to creating a perfect, romantic evening. The apartment, usually a place of quick meals and exhaustion, was transformed. She bought fresh flowers, lit scented candles, their soft glow casting dancing shadows on the walls. The aroma of a perfectly seasoned beefsteak sizzled in the pan, accompanied by a bottle of the affordable but decent red wine they occasionally splurged on. On the small, carefully set dining table, nestled beside two elegant wine glasses, sat a carefully wrapped gift. A vintage watch she'd saved for months to buy, a timeless piece she hoped would symbolize their enduring love. Her heart fluttered with nervous excitement as she picked up her phone. "Happy anniversary, my love. Dinner's almost ready. Can't wait to see you. Please come home early." Red heart, she texted, her fingers trembling slightly. She waited. An hour passed. No reply. 2 hours. Still nothing. A faint flicker of doubt sparked within her, quickly extinguished by a familiar mantra. "It's okay. He's probably just busy. Big day at work. He'll be here." She reheated the steak, keeping the candles lit, the romantic atmosphere slowly turning into one of silent anticipation. 8 o'clock became 9, then 10. The beefsteak grew cold. The wine sat unopened. The vibrant glow of the candles started to dim, their wax melting into sad, formless puddles. Sarah sat on the small sofa, her phone clutched in her hand, scrolling through old photos of them together, remembering the happy Mark, the loving Mark, the Mark who used to rush home just to hold her hand. 11 o'clock. Midnight. The sound of keys rattling in the lock jolted her from her weary reverie. Mark was home. A wave of relief, potent and overwhelming, washed over her. Despite everything, he was here. Sarah sprang up, a hopeful smile blooming on her face, illuminating the still romantic, though now cold, scene she had created. "Mark, happy anniversary. I cooked us a special dinner," she began, her voice bubbling with a mix of excitement and relief. Mark stepped into the apartment, his tailored jacket slightly askew, his tie loosened. He looked tired, yes, but also annoyed. His eyes swept over the candlelit table, the wilting flowers, the uneaten meal. There was no flicker of warmth, no apology for his lateness, no recognition of the significance of the night. His expression was one of irritation, bordering on contempt. "What is all this, Sarah?" he grumbled, his voice rough. "It's late. I'm exhausted. Can we just not right now?" Without another word, he shrugged off his jacket and walked past her, his gaze pointedly avoiding hers, straight into the bedroom, leaving her standing alone in the soft, dying light of the anniversary candles, the uneaten steak a cold monument to her shattered expectations. The air hung heavy with his indifference, suffocating her last vestiges of hope. A few days later, Sarah returned home from her supermarket shift, her body aching, her heart still smarting from the anniversary night. She unlocked the door, anticipating the familiar quiet of the empty apartment. Instead, she found the living room bathed in a soft, elegant light she didn't recognize. And then she saw them. Mark was there, standing stiffly in the middle of the room. Beside him, a woman, a stunning woman. Her dress was sleek, expensive, and perfectly tailored, accentuating her slender figure. Her hair was styled impeccably, and her features were sharp, refined, radiating an aura of effortless luxury and confidence. She looked like she'd stepped right out of the pages of a high-fashion magazine. Exactly the type of woman Mark now worked with, the type of woman he aspired to be around. Sarah's breath hitched. A cold dread settled in her stomach. She looked from Mark's impassive face to the elegant woman beside him, and a horrifying realization dawned. It didn't take a genius to piece it together. The late nights, the vague excuses, the growing distance. It all clicked into place with a sickening thud. "Sarah," Mark began, his voice flat, devoid of emotion, "we need to talk." He didn't even try to soften the blow. He didn't offer an explanation. He just stated it, a cold, clinical declaration. "It's over." Sarah felt the world tilt on its axis. Her mind raced, grasping for something, anything to hold on to. "Over," she whispered, her voice barely audible, laced with a raw disbelief that echoed through the quiet room. Her eyes welled up, but she fought back the tears, refusing to break. She looked at the woman, then back at Mark. Are you serious? Are you really sure about this, Mark? Her voice gained strength, rising with a mixture of pain and righteous anger. 5 years, Mark. 5 years I worked 2 jobs, day and night, just so you could go to college, so you could eat, so you could focus on your dream. I gave up my dream, my chance to be a designer, just to put you through school, to give you the life you wanted. And now you're just casting all aside? All that sacrifice? All those promises? Mark's face hardened. He looked at her, his eyes cold and unfeeling, completely devoid of the Mark she had loved. That was your choice, Sarah. I never forced you to do any of that. His words were a brutal, dismissive blow, each one striking her heart like a physical assault. And honestly, you don't offer me anything anymore. You have no more use to me. He then gestured towards the elegant woman beside him, a sneer twisting his lips. Look at her, Sarah. She's young, beautiful, sophisticated. And more importantly, he emphasized, his voice dripping with condescension, she's the director of the company I work for. My future? It's wide open with her. You're just holding me back. The words hit Sarah like 1,000 shards of ice. No more use to me. Holding me back. The cruel, callous truth of his ambition, revealed in its most brutal form. The dream she had nourished, the future she had envisioned, the love she had so completely given, it all crumbled into dust around her. Tears, hot and uncontrollable, finally streamed down her face, blurring the image of the man who had once been her world, now transformed into a stranger. The elegant woman stood silently beside Mark, her expression unreadable, a silent witness to Sarah's devastation. The cruel words hung in the air, echoing the bitter taste of betrayal in Sarah's mouth. No more use to me. Holding me back. Mark's voice, once the sweetest melody, now a venomous sting. Tears streamed down her face, blurring the image of the man she had loved and the elegant woman beside him. Her heart felt like it had been ripped from her chest, leaving a gaping, agonizing void. She swayed, feeling lightheaded, the world spinning around her. Sarah, Mark repeated, his voice laced with impatience. I think you should just accept it. It's time to move on. We're done here. He started to turn, as if the conversation was already concluded, ready to dismiss her from his life as easily as he'd dismissed her 5 years of sacrifice. But just as he made to walk away, the elegant woman beside him, who had until now stood silently, took a step forward. Her striking features softened with a sudden, surprising compassion. She reached out, gently placing a hand on Sarah's arm. Sarah looked up, startled, expecting perhaps a patronizing glance, but saw only genuine concern in the woman's eyes. Sarah, the woman said, her voice low and steady, yet brimming with a powerful undercurrent of frustration and anger that was clearly not directed at Sarah. Didn't I tell you he wasn't worth it? He's not worth all the sacrifices you made, Maya. The name, Maya, jolted Mark. He froze, his head snapping towards the woman, then back to Sarah, a look of utter confusion clouding his face. Sarah, through her tears, looked at the woman with a dawning realization. The shock of the betrayal momentarily receded, replaced by a flicker of understanding, then a fierce surge of defiance. Sarah wiped her tears with the back of her hand, her gaze hardening as she met the woman's eyes. Yes, Lily, she choked out, her voice raw. You were right. He's nothing but scum. Mark's jaw dropped. His eyes darted between Sarah and Lily, his meticulously crafted facade crumbling. Lily? Maya? What is going on here? His voice was a bewildered stammer, laced with a growing panic. Sarah straightened her shoulders, a fire igniting in her eyes that had been dormant for too long. The grief was still there, a burning ember, but now it was overshadowed by a blazing fury. Let me explain, Mark, she said, her voice clear and cutting, each word a deliberate thrust. This isn't just some random woman you decided to bring home to break my heart. She gestured to Lily, a wry, bitter smile touching her lips. This is Lily, my best friend. Mark recoiled as if struck. Your best friend? What kind of twisted game is this? His voice rose, tinged with disbelief and a sudden, desperate fear. No game, Mark. Just the truth, Sarah continued, her voice gaining strength, the years of unspoken frustrations finally bursting forth. Lily has been trying to open my eyes about you for months. She told me you were no good, that you were taking advantage of me. But I was stupid. I was blind. I was so caught up in our dream that I refused to see. She stepped closer to him, her gaze unwavering. And as for her being the director of your company, a derisive laugh escaped her lips. Who do you think you are, Mark? Do you honestly believe a director of a major fashion house would genuinely be interested in a junior designer who only scraped by with a past degree? Mark's face went ashen. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. His carefully constructed fantasy, his elaborate lie, was collapsing around him. Only I, in my naive, idiotic belief in you, could have been fooled by your empty promises and your pathetic excuses, Sarah pressed on, her voice vibrating with controlled rage. But not anymore, Mark. Not now. Understanding, swift and brutal, crashed over Mark. His face contorted, a mixture of shock, fury, and humiliation. You two set me up? You play me for a fool? He roared, his voice cracking with outrage. Lily stepped forward, calmly placing herself between Sarah and Mark, a protective stance. Her elegant demeanor was now tinged with a steely resolve. We didn't set you up, Mark. We just helped Sarah see the truth. The truth about who you really are. A manipulative, ungrateful user. Her voice, though calm, carried an undeniable authority. Now, I suggest you get out of here, before I call security. Mark looked at Lily, then back at Sarah, a cold, hard rage burning in his eyes, but beneath it, a desperate, sickening shame. He knew he was trapped. He knew he had been exposed. With a final, furious glance, he turned on his heel and stormed out of the apartment, slamming the door behind him, leaving a chilling silence in his wake. His exit was not triumphant, but pathetic, punctuated by the echo of his own shattered pride. The cruel words hung in the air, echoing the bitter taste of betrayal in Sarah's mouth. No more use to me, holding me back. Mark's voice, once the sweetest melody, now a venomous sting. Tears streamed down her face, blurring the image of the man she had loved and the elegant woman beside him. Her heart felt like it had been ripped from her chest, leaving a gaping, agonizing void. She swayed, feeling lightheaded, the world spinning around her. Sarah, Mark repeated, his voice laced with impatience. I think you should just accept it. It's time to move on. We're done here. He started to turn, as if the conversation was already concluded, ready to dismiss her from his life as easily as he dismissed her 5 years of sacrifice. But just as he made to walk away, the elegant woman beside him, who had until now stood silently, took a step forward. Her striking features softened with a sudden, surprising compassion. She reached out, gently placing a hand on Sarah's arm. Sarah looked up, startled, expecting perhaps a patronizing glance, but saw only genuine concern in the woman's eyes. Sarah, the woman said, her voice low and steady, yet brimming with a powerful undercurrent of frustration and anger that was clearly not directed at Sarah. Didn't I tell you he wasn't worth it? He's not worth all the sacrifices you made, Maya. The name, Maya, jolted Mark. He froze, his head snapping towards the woman, then back to Sarah, a look of utter confusion clouding his face. Sarah, through her tears, looked at the woman with a dawning realization. The shock of the betrayal momentarily receded, replaced by a flicker of understanding, then a fierce surge of defiance. Sarah wiped her tears with the back of her hand, her gaze hardening as she met the woman's eyes. Yes, Lily, she choked out, her voice raw. You were right. He's nothing but scum. Mark's jaw dropped. His eyes darted between Sarah and Lily, his meticulously crafted facade crumbling. Lily? Maya? What is going on here? His voice was a bewildered stammer, laced with a growing panic. Sarah straightened her shoulders, a fire igniting in her eyes that had been dormant for too long. The grief was still there, a burning ember, but now it was overshadowed by a blazing fury. Let me explain, Mark, she said, her voice clear and cutting, each word a deliberate thrust. This isn't just some random woman you decided to bring home to break my heart. She gestured to Lily, a wry, bitter smile touching her lips. This is Lily, my best friend. Mark recoiled as if struck. Your best friend? What kind of twisted game is this? His voice rose, tinged with disbelief and a sudden, desperate fear. No game, Mark. Just the truth, Sarah continued, her voice gaining strength, the years of unspoken frustrations finally bursting forth. Lily has been trying to open my eyes about you for months. She told me you were no good, that you were taking advantage of me. But I was stupid. I was blind. I was so caught up in our dream that I refused to see. She stepped closer to him, her gaze unwavering. And as for her being the director of your company, a derisive laugh escaped her lips. Who do you think you are, Mark? Do you honestly believe a director of a major fashion house would genuinely be interested in a junior designer who only scraped by with a past degree? Mark's face went ashen. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. His carefully constructed fantasy, his elaborate lie, was collapsing around him. Only I, in my naive, idiotic belief in you, could have been fooled by your empty promises and your pathetic excuses, Sarah pressed on, her voice vibrating with controlled rage. But not anymore, Mark. Not now. Understanding, swift and brutal, crashed over Mark. His face contorted, a mixture of shock, fury, and humiliation. You two set me up? You played me for a fool? He roared, his voice cracking with outrage. Lily stepped forward, calmly placing herself between Sarah and Mark, a protective stance. Her elegant demeanor was now tinged with a steely resolve. We didn't set you up, Mark. We just helped Sarah see the truth. The truth about who you really are. A manipulative, ungrateful user. Her voice, though calm, carried an undeniable authority. Now, I suggest you get out of here, before I call security. Mark looked at Lily, then back at Sarah, a cold, hard rage burning in his eyes, but beneath it, a desperate, sickening shame. He knew he was trapped. He knew he had been exposed. With a final, furious glance, he turned on his heel and stormed out of the apartment, slamming the door behind him, leaving a chilling silence in his wake. His exit was not triumphant, but pathetic, punctuated by the echo of his own shattered pride. The door clicked shut, severing the last visible tie to the nightmare Mark had become. Sarah stood there, trembling, the adrenaline slowly leaving her body, replaced by a profound emptiness. Then, the dam finally broke. She collapsed onto the sofa, sobbing uncontrollably, the years of repressed pain, disappointment, and betrayal pouring out of her. Lily was instantly by her side, pulling her into a warm, comforting embrace. It's okay, Maya, Lily murmured, stroking Sarah's hair. Let all out. You're finally free. The name, Maya, was a private nickname Lily used, a term of endearment that brought a small, painful comfort amidst the storm of tears. After what felt like an eternity, Sarah's sobs subsided into quiet sniffles. She pulled away, wiping her tear-stained face. Thank you, Lily, she whispered, her voice still hoarse. Thank you for everything. I was so blind. Lily smiled gently. You were in love, Sarah. It happens. But now it's time to remember who you are. Remember your dreams. Sarah looked at her, a flicker of something akin to hope igniting in her bloodshot eyes. My dreams? Lily, I haven't even thought about my designs in years. I don't even know where to start. I do, Lily said, her eyes shining with determination. I know you, Sarah. You're incredibly talented. You have an eye for design, a creativity that most people only dream of. You were meant for this, not for slaving away in fast food joints and supermarkets. She took Sarah's hands, her grip firm and reassuring. My family's company, Elegance Atelier, is always looking for fresh talent. I'll help you get enrolled in a top fashion school, one that can truly hone your skills. And when you're ready, I'll ensure you get an internship and then a position at our company. My father trusts my judgment, and I trust your talent. This isn't charity, Sarah. This is an investment in your future and your potential. Sarah stared at her, overwhelmed. Lily wasn't just offering comfort. She was offering a lifeline, a bridge back to the life Sarah had abandoned. The idea of picking up her sketchbook again, of seeing her designs come alive, felt both terrifying and exhilarating. It was a chance she never thought she'd get. A fresh wave of tears, but this time tears of relief and gratitude, welled up in her eyes. "Oh, Lily," she choked out, I don't know what to say. Thank you. Thank you so much." Lily pulled her into another tight hug. "Don't say anything. Just promise me you'll work hard, just like you always do. Your talent deserves to shine, Sarah. Let's make that dream a reality, together." And in that embrace, amidst the lingering scent of stale betrayal and the fresh promise of a new beginning, Sarah felt a lightness she hadn't experienced in years. The long, arduous journey of rediscovering herself, of reclaiming her stolen dream, had just begun. The door slammed shut, echoing the finality of Mark's exit. The humiliating truth of his deceit, exposed by Sarah and Lily, wasn't just a personal blow. It reverberated through his professional life with swift and brutal consequences. When word of his opportunistic and unethical behavior reached the higher echelons of haute designs, especially reaching the ears of powerful figures like Lily's family, who held significant sway in the industry, his dismissal was swift and without ceremony. He was a liability, a toxic element. Within days, Mark found himself jobless, his grand ambitions crumbling into dust. He had nowhere to go. The lavish lifestyle he'd briefly glimpsed through Lily's assumed influence vanished. He tried to reach out to former colleagues, to the very director he'd so brazenly displayed, but all his calls went unanswered. His world, built on lies and exploitation, collapsed. The once confident, well-dressed Mark grew gaunt, his sharp features now etched with desperation. He wandered aimlessly for a few days, the reality of his predicament slowly sinking in. There was only one place left to go, one person left to beg for forgiveness from. He returned to the apartment he had shared with Sarah, the apartment she had sacrificed 5 years of her life to maintain. He approached with a mixture of dread and a faint, pathetic hope. Perhaps, just perhaps, Sarah's endless well of compassion would still hold a drop for him. As he reached the front door, his heart pounded, but not with excitement. Instead, it was a sickening thud of realization. Neatly stacked outside the apartment, by the curb, were his few meager belongings. A duffel bag stuffed with clothes, a box of old textbooks, and a pair of worn sneakers. His keys, the ones he'd used to sneak in and out for so long, felt strangely heavy in his pocket. The door was locked. He knocked, softly at first, then with increasing desperation. Sarah, please. Let me in. I'm so sorry. I made a mistake. I need you." His voice cracked, raw with a mix of shame and a genuine, if self-serving, plea. A moment later, Sarah's voice, calm and resolute, came from behind the closed door. It was a voice he barely recognized, stripped of its usual softness, imbued with an unyielding strength. "There's nothing left for you here, Mark. Your things are outside. You should go. Sarah, please. Don't do this. I have nowhere else. I lost my job. I have nothing," he pleaded, his voice cracking. He could hear the faint sound of the deadbolt clicking, reinforcing her resolve. "That's because of your own choices, Mark," Sarah replied, her voice unwavering, a steel edge beneath the quiet tone. "My compassion isn't a bottomless pit for your convenience. You chose to be ungrateful. You chose to discard everything I gave you. You lost it all because of yourself." Mark slumped against the door, the weight of his humiliation crushing him. He had nothing left. No job, no apartment, no future he could leech off of. He was truly alone, stripped bare by the consequences of his own callousness. He picked up his belongings, hugging them to his chest, and walked away, a broken, shameful figure, disappearing down the street, forever banished from the life he had so carelessly thrown away. His ingratitude had cost him everything. Meanwhile, for Sarah, life was just beginning. Fueled by a newfound sense of purpose and the unwavering support of Lily, she embraced her second chance with unparalleled zeal. She enrolled in a prestigious fashion design program, devouring every lecture, every workshop, every opportunity to learn and grow. Her raw talent, once dormant, blossomed under proper guidance. As promised, Lily arranged for Sarah to intern at Elegance Atelier, her family's esteemed fashion company. Sarah didn't just meet expectations, she consistently exceeded them. Her designs were fresh, innovative, and captivated everyone who saw them. She poured her heart into every sketch, every fabric choice, every stitch. Her work wasn't just about clothes. It was about reclaiming her identity, transforming her pain into power. Within a year, her brilliance was undeniable. Sarah was promoted to head of design, a meteoric rise that stunned even the most seasoned veterans in the industry. Her designs graced the covers of top fashion magazines, and her name became synonymous with cutting-edge style. Soon, renowned celebrities clamored to wear her creations on red carpets and major events. Sarah Miller, the former fast food worker and supermarket cashier, had not only reclaimed her dream, but had become a celebrated force in the fashion world, living a life of authentic success built purely on her talent, resilience, and the true kindness of a friend. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any thoughts or opinions about this story, feel free to leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to our channel to support us. Your support means the world. Thank you again.